Hi everyone, welcome back. We're here with another bridge hand. This was given to me by a friend on Discord. I get a really nice end position here. It's not the easiest hand to understand and play and make, so you've been warned at the start. But you pick up the following hand in south. So you have the 9 count here. You've got 2 spades, 3 low hearts, ace, king to 4 diamonds, and queen to 4 clubs. So it's you to bid first, you pass. The next hand passes, and your partner opens 2 game forcing clubs. East passes. In fact, East and West don't bid at all. So it's up to you what you're going to bid with this hand. Well, classically, this is the 8 to 10 balance, 8 to 11 balance. You want to show a positive with your hand, but you haven't got a 5-card suit, so you respond 2 no trumps, depending on partnership styles. But if you're playing with the robots, 2 no trumps is what they would bid with this hand. So you kind of want to bid what they want to do too. Your partner decides to bid 5 no trumps over this, which I believe is a bid 7 if you're maximum. And in the context of the hand, you could have up to 11. Real life players might play this as pick a slam or something else, but yeah, you don't really have anywhere close to a maximum for your 2 no trump bid. I know you're a pass hand, but you will pass a lot of 11 counts, and those are the hands that maybe partners looking to bid 6 with or 7 with. So you just decide to sign up in 6 no trumps, and you're confronted with this dummy here. And they lead the 2 of spades. So let's have a quick count of our tricks. How many do we think we're going to make, and what do we have off the top, and what suits offer promise, as we usually do. Well, we've got 2 definite spades, 1 definite heart, that's 3, 4 definite diamonds, that is 7, and 3 definite clubs, that's 10. So we've got 10 tricks off the top, and diamonds offer no prospect for extra tricks, but the other 3 suits do. We could potentially make 1 or even 2 more spade tricks. We could make hearts is a weird, we'll come back to hearts. We could make an extra club trick if someone's got Jack 10x. So if the Jack 10 fall in 3 rounds, or someone throws a club early, maybe because they don't realise they need to keep one, we could potentially have 4 club tricks as well. And hearts is a suit that we can potentially set up. It's possible to set up by taking some finesses through West, some heart tricks, and there are certain heart combinations that give you extra tricks. If hearts are 3-3, you can make 2 heart tricks, but the problem is you can't afford to lose 2 because you're in 6 no trumps. So we're going to concentrate on the majors first and decide which major we're going to attack. If Jack 10 extra clubs come down, brilliant, but the problem with that is it only gives us 1 extra trick and we need 2. We're only on 10. So one possibility is we can play small at trick 1, and we can play for West to have led from the Queen of Spades, and we can run this to our 10, and if that works we can take a spade finesse with the Jack, and if that works we make our contract. The problem with that is if that doesn't work, we are reliant on now, and we've set another spade trick of 111, we're reliant on Jack 10x of clubs dropping. And the robots, this was a robot bridge hand played by a friend of mine, the robots generally don't lead from queens against slams. They're looking for a safe lead, and you might think, well, Steve, maybe he's not got a safe lead. Well, he's probably got a diamond, and he can't have any diamond on us because we've got them all. We've even got the 10. So they robot in the West seat. Again, we've not bid any suits. They often avoid leading suits with bid sometimes when they've got length in them, but here they're probably just going to lead something passive. So there's a very good chance that the Queen of Spades is offside, and this is something you might change if you were playing this hands against humans. Maybe the human, depending on if you knew them and how good a player they were, and whether they think it's right to lead a spade in this auction, whether you think it's right for them to lead a spade. But one possibility to make 12 is to play West with the Queen of Spades, and it's a genuine possibility against humans. But the person playing this hand decided not to. They decided to play for East to have the Queen of Spades because they're banking on playing a lot of robot bridge, and the robots wouldn't lead the Queen there. So if the Queen of Spades is offside, like I said, we could run this. And the Queen could win, and we've set our Jack up because the 10 will force the Queen out, and potentially the Jack 10x of clubs will drop. I think that's literally our only chance, other than a squeeze in potentially hearts and clubs towards the end. The problem with that is they can break that up. You need to retain the ace of hearts for the squeeze to work because you've got no communication in clubs. You need to play the squeeze card from the south hand, so which would be the 4th diamond after cashing north spades, and East, if they have the Queen of Spades, can break up that squeeze. So Whether they find it, it's a difficult thing to switch to, but if, for example, East has King, Queen of Hearts and the club guard, which is how you're going to squeeze them, they might find the King of Hearts switch, for example. So there's no guarantee that playing low at trick 1 gives you extra chances other than the clubs coming in, because they can break up any squeeze that there is. So what other chances are there? What other chances are there to make 2 tricks, assuming the Queen of Spades is offside? Well, there's the opportunity to make 3 heart tricks. What you'd need for that to be the case is that West to have several heart holdings which allow you to pick the hearts up for 1 loser. The heart holdings that West can have are King 10 doubleton, Queen 10 doubleton, King 10x or Queen 10x. And what you do is you would play small towards the 9. And if either of those 2 situations happen, I mean King Queen 10 as well and King Queen 10x as well work too. You can play small towards the 9 and small towards the 8 and just cover what West plays every time if they've got them all. The only holding that you can pick up that you're probably not going to do is King Queen X. If West has King Queen X, that is less likely than all those other combinations I've said, so you're probably going to play a heart towards the 9, and if West can play low from King Queen X, you're going to go wrong. However, with King Queen X, they might insert the Queen, being robots, and they might decide that I can't afford the Jack to win and play the Queen, and now you can make 3 heart tricks if hearts are 3-3, and that's all you need. You don't need an extra spade and you don't need an extra club. So what the player in question decided to do is to do that. They're going to play for a favourable heart position in the West hand, which they think is more likely than West leading from the Queen of Spades. And if that doesn't work, maybe there are some squeeze chances, but I think in that case you'll need the Jack 10 of clubs to fall. So let's give that a go and see what happens. So they played the King. They crossed to the South hand with a 10 of diamonds. We've got loads of diamond communication towards the 10. And they're just going to play a heart finesse. And again, you're playing for West to have King 10x, Queen 10x, King 10, Queen 10, or all of them. King, Queen 10, and even to 4 you can gain when they've got King, Queen 10x as well. So we'll see. So we're going to play a small heart towards dummy. They played small, so we play the 9. And if this forces the Queen or the King, we can then cross back to the South and then play 1 towards the 8 and picking up West's hearts because we've got all these heart cards. That loses to the 10, so that's not great. So now we're in a dire situation here. What options do we have now? Well, let's see what East plays back. They play back a club. So we win the King of Clubs and things aren't great. If we look at the situation now and count our tricks, we've made 3. We've got the Ace of Spades, the Ace of Hearts is 2 more, that's 5. We've got 3 more diamonds is 8, and we've got 2 clubs is 10. So we've still got the same 10 we had before, and we're in trouble now. So now we're going to need a lot of help. We're going to need probably the Jack 10 of clubs to fall, so we can get to 11, and then we're going to need some sort of major suit squeeze. So thankfully East didn't return something to break the squeeze up, but we're probably going to need the spade finesse and then either someone with both King and Queen of Hearts, which doesn't look likely, or something nice. So it's not going to be great, but whatever we need for any of those lines to work, we're going to need the Jack 10 of clubs to fall. So let's just see if that's the case. It is not. Okay, so we're in trouble here. We're probably going to have to settle for 1 off, and we're going to cash the Queen of Diamonds and see what transpires. And East throws a heart. Oh, so now, are there any legitimate lines for us to make it? So let's have a quick think. We're still only on 10 tricks, and the spade finesse gives us 11, and then we need some sort of squeeze. In which case we would need someone to have Queen to 4 spades. Probably it has to be West because we need the spade finesse, and we need West to have King, Queen of Hearts, and then we can squeeze West in spades and hearts. We might also be able to squeeze West in clubs and hearts, but that might work as well. However, when the Queen of Diamonds is played, East is likely to have all the length we need. East is likely to have the club length now. East might, I mean, we already think East has the Queen of Spades, so can we possibly make it if East has the Queen of Spades? And it's one of these squeezes that doesn't come up very often. and when it does, it's incredibly difficult to spot. But the person playing this hand reflected on the fact that if East has a singleton diamond, East might have the Queen of Spades, the length in hearts, and the club guard, in which case they'll be triple squeezed. So what you're effectively playing for East to be is initially something like 4-4-1-4 with 4 clubs to the Jack or the 10, with the Queen to 4 spades, because your long spades in dummy become a menace. It's what's called an extended menace, or a double extended menace effectively. They've got to guard not only the Jack of Spades but potentially the 5 as well, because if they bear the Queen of Spades, North spades become good. So East not only has to guard the Queen of Spades, they have to guard potentially the hearts and the clubs, and they're going to be triple squeezed. So what we can do with a triple squeeze is gain 2 tricks. A triple squeeze will gain 2 tricks. Effectively what happens with a triple squeeze is you squeeze them out of one winner, and then it becomes then down to a single squeeze. You catch the winner you've been squeezed out of, and you squeeze them again. So effectively you squeeze them twice. You squeeze them once in 3 suits, and whichever suit they discard, you squeeze them in 2 suits. And the key to a triple squeeze here is that you need North to have 3 tricks in spades. They've only got 1, but 3 tricks is given. So if North only had 1 extra trick, if North didn't have the 5 of spades, this wouldn't work. And there's something else we need to do as well with the triple squeeze to work, is that we need East to have 4 hearts initially, in which case our 6 of hearts is going to be the heart menace. So we're going to have to, before we cash the Jack of Diamonds to the Ace King, we need to unblock the hearts. It's called a Vienna coup, and if we don't do this, East can if you start throwing hearts around the clubs and diamonds, East can discard hearts because you haven't got a heart trick. So because East is discarding after North, you effectively need the heart menace to be in the south hand. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cash the Ace of Hearts before we cross the dummy. And the King falling is excellent news. It now looks like East was initially 4-4-1-4. So what we're now going to do is cash another diamond. East throws a spade. So now hopefully they're down to Queen X of Spades, stiff Queen of Hearts and the club guard. And you win. And now we're just going to squeeze them. But what we're going to throw from the north hand, our heart menace, the thing that East is keeping the Queen of Hearts to stop, is going to be our 6 of Hearts. We're going to throw North hearts away because we don't need those. Our 6 of Hearts is going to be the thing that East needs to stop, because North needs to keep all the spades. North needs 3 potential tricks in spades. If North ever throws a spade, East just throws a spade and then they can guard the clubs and the hearts because there's no squeezing clubs and hearts. So we cash Ace of Diamonds, throwing a heart, and now East potentially is stuffed. Let's see what they throw away. They throw the 10 of clubs away. They didn't necessarily know South had 4, and now we've squeezed them in 1 suit of the 3. They've thrown a club away, and we can now cash 2 clubs, throwing the heart away. They have to follow, so they did have 4 clubs initially, and now our last club squeezes East, hopefully, in the majors, just a simple squeeze in the majors. Now, if East has Queen X of Spades and the Queen of Hearts left, we know they're now squeezed because the 6 of Hearts is the guard in the south hand, so they threw a spade away. And it's one of these situations now that you could just take the finesse, and if the finesse was right all along, maybe just East made a bad discard. But robots generally don't. Robots generally discard well, and if the finesse is going to work, East would throw all the low spades away or anything like that. So we're going to play for the squeeze to have worked. We're going to play for East to have been squeezed in 3 suits. The 6 of Hearts isn't high. We're going to play our last spade. West follows. We're going to play the ace and hope to see the queen. And the queen falls, leaving our Jack of Spades as our 13th trick. So we're going to have a look at the whole hand. And that is the hand that trick 1. So we read the hand well, at least I say we. I didn't play this hand. It was a friend of mine called Matt who played this hand, and he made 12 tricks for a pretty good score in a robot tournament. But it's a really nice hand, actually. It's not often you see triple squeezes work. And we had other lines we could have done, but when the Queen of Diamonds showed that West started with 5 diamonds, the triple squeeze becomes slightly more likely, coupled with the fact that we think that the Queen of Spades is offside from trick 1. I think it's a lot more difficult to make this hand if West leaves a diamond. I don't think you'd realistically do it. You might just try and take some finesses and hope things work. But it was a really nice hand, so we'll just go back to the point where they're squeezed. We can see that at this point here we can see that West is struggling to discard their cards. And on the ace of hearts and then a diamond, they have to throw a spade away, which they can afford to do. And at this point, the ace of diamonds squeezes East in 3 suits. East has to keep the club guard, East has to keep the heart, and East has to keep the spade. We can see that there's an interesting thing here. If East discards the Queen of Hearts, what do you do? So if we just get to this point, if East discards the Queen of Hearts, you have to be quite careful here, slightly careful anyway, that your Jack of Hearts is now high. But if you cash the Queen of Clubs and then try and cash the Jack of Hearts, you can't actually get East in the same squeeze. So what you have to do in this case is cash the Queen of Clubs, throwing the Jack of Hearts, and now your 6 of Hearts will squeeze East in the black suits for, again, the same triple squeeze. As long as the 3-card menace in the north hand stays intact, South needs to have the 9 of Clubs and the 6 of Hearts, so whichever of those 2 suits East discards, you can play it and squeeze them again. And if East ever discards a spade from the Queen, North has 3 spade tricks, and so you don't need either of the 2 cards that South ended up making anyway. So that was a really nice hand. Thanks, Matt, for showing me that, and I hope you appreciated that in another bridge hands from Steve.